Hello fluffies, this is Lazer the Wolf and I'm here with another video. So I'm super excited to do my first full video in here. If you haven't already seen it, I did a little introduction video kind of introducing myself in the channel a few weeks ago, but this will be my first full-on video and I'm really excited to share it with you guys today. So today I'm going to be discussing a topic that I know every furry struggles with, and I have a feeling that this is something that a lot of you really want to know. How do you tell people that you're a furry? How do you tell people in your life about the furry fandom? I could probably spend hours on this topic, but I've broken it down to a few thoughts and tips from my 5 months being here so far in the fandom, and I really hope that it's a help to all my fellow furries out there watching this. So number one, you don't have to tell people if you don't want to. Now trust me, I 100% understand that this is probably something that you do want to share with people. If you're anything like me, the furry fandom means a lot to you and you really want to share it with people because of that, and that's really good. But before we go any further, I just want you to understand that you don't have to do this. If you have a bunch of furry friends and you engage in the furry community, and even if you go to conventions and have a suit and all that stuff, just because all that is true doesn't mean everyone has to know about it. It's okay to have interests and hobbies and communities that not everyone in your life knows about. This doesn't make them bad, and not everyone is going to know everything about what you like, and that's okay. It doesn't make it bad, it doesn't make it weird, it just means not everyone knows about it, and that's totally okay. Now that's all fine and great, but we all know that if you're engaged in the furry fandom in some capacity, the people around you in your life are probably going to find out about it one way or another. It's just going to slip into conversation, it's going to show up on your phone or something, like just something is going to happen. People are likely going to find out, and if you're anything like me, you probably want to represent the fandom and you're probably going to be giving some not so subtle hints that you are a furry and you don't want to have to constantly hide it. So what do you do then? And this leads me to my second point. A lot of it depends on how much people know about the fandom beforehand, and this is very important to keep in mind as you tell people about the furry fandom. Sadly, many people have only heard of the fandom in a negative capacity. They've only heard of the bad side about it. So due to some dumb TV show, I'm looking at UCSI, or a negative news segment, or a drastically uninformed online article. And so when you mention anything furry to them, they remember this and then they instantly view the fandom through that one negative opinion. So try to think about the person that you're going to be telling beforehand and decide whether it's likely that they've heard of the fandom before or not. Now if they haven't heard of it before, you get the golden opportunity of being able to share the fandom for the first time with them. Now, they may still think maybe it's a little weird, but at least you can tell them the actual truth about it, and hopefully your interaction will be a bit more positive because they don't have all those negative opinions built up already. Now, on the other hand, if they have heard of it before and they already have that negative opinion, well, that's when it gets a little more tricky, which leads me to the next tip. Keep things casual. Now you've probably heard this advice before, but I'm going to reiterate it here because it is really important. So when talking to others about the furry fandom, keep things casual. Now for me this is actually kind of hard because I have so many friends in the fandom, it means so much to me, I just really enjoy it and really love it. So to act like it's just another hobby is kind of almost inaccurate in a way, but oftentimes this really is the best way to explain the fandom, especially from an outside perspective. Oftentimes a lot of furries feel they need to come out as a furry or make a deep confession if it's this like deep, terrible thing, and I do understand this. I understand why they feel the need to do this, because the way society thinks of furries, there's often an incredible amount of negativity and pressure surrounding the fandom, and it does feel hard to mention it just casually, so you kind of feel almost this need to come out in a way as a furry, but this is definitely not necessary, I can assure you. So think of it this way. So I've liked hockey for about 4 years now. I'm definitely a fan of that sport. I like to watch it, but that's beyond the topic of this video, but just using it for this example. If someone didn't know what hockey was and I came up to them and made this dramatic announcement, I have this confession to make. I like hockey, okay? I know it's, I'm sorry. They'd probably be weirded out and think that it was something way more serious than it actually is. But if I just tell them casually that I'm a fan of a sport called hockey and I like it and you know it's fun and whatever, they're probably going to be more chill about it because I'm being more chill about it. And this is the key. Even if the person you're talking to already has a negative opinion of the fandom, remaining calm and casual about it as you explain it is a great way to dispel their concerns and help keep the conversation calm and hopefully non-confrontational and more casual if you keep that chill, casual attitude. So the next tip is don't get defensive. As you're telling someone about the fandom, they will likely come at you with questions and maybe even accusations about the fandom. Now I know this is unfortunate and it is sad that this happens, but it's just the reality based on people's negative opinions of furries. It's probably likely that this is going to happen. So it's important to maintain your casualness and try not to get defensive here. So of course this is easier said than done, but it will seriously help, I can assure you. Getting defensive just makes the person who you're talking to think that you're not being honest or that you're hiding something. And that leads to the next related tip. Be honest about the bad side of the fandom. This is all about honesty here. As furries, we all know that just like any other fandom, there is the unfortunate bad side of our fandom, and this is often the only thing people have heard about the furry fandom. So rather than pretend it's not there, just be honest about it. So explain that while there definitely is a bad side, it's not at all the core or the purpose of the fandom, it's not the majority, and just explain that. Acknowledging this fact is important because it will help the person see that you're being genuine, and this should really help the conversation overall. Next up is emphasize the good stuff. So, of course, you do want to acknowledge the bad side, but also don't forget about the good stuff, right? Of course, that's kind of the goal. It probably goes without saying, but emphasize the good side of the fandom. Let the person know all the great stuff about the furry fandom that they probably have never even thought about. Talk about the artwork, the costumes, the creativity, the community, and the friendship, and the love, and the kindness, the acceptance, just the overall support and the fun that makes us love the furry fandom. Talk about that. Emphasize that, and hopefully then the person will start to see that there actually are positives to the furry fandom. It could just be that they've never thought about it, and they may have never thought that there's any reason to like anthropomorphic animals or to be in a community like this, but when you start to explain it, they'll probably start to, if they're open-minded even somewhat, they should be able to start to see, oh hey, this actually maybe isn't as bad as I originally thought. So my last tip is to find a good reference point with which to explain the fandom. Now, this does vary depending on the situation, but I'll give you an example. So when explaining to quite a few of my family members, I really emphasize the nerdiness of the fandom. So if you've been in the fandom for a while, you probably know that most of us are nerds and geeks. It's just what we are. We're nerdy people, and I absolutely love that. And so my family already kind of knew that I was a nerd and a geek and stuff. They already knew this. So explaining the fandom from that nerdy angle per se really helped it to make it more relatable and less foreign. Now I did mention some costumes and animal stuff, but I really tried to focus on that nerd element, and this really made it a lot easier to explain it to them. So find something similar to that depending on who you're talking to. Maybe the person really likes art, so explain the fandom in terms of art. Explain that it's a fandom where we like art of anthropomorphic animals and we draw and there's a lot of artists and stuff. Explain it in that terms. Or maybe the person really appreciates creativity, so explain the fandom as a good creative outlet. Explain it as something that is a place for people to express their creativity. Maybe the person really likes movies, so emphasize the movie and character part of the fandom. Maybe the person likes cosplay, so explain it as basically just another form of cosplay. There's lots and lots of ways to explain the furry fandom because it's so wide-reaching and has so many things in it. You really can explain it thousands of different ways, to be honest. So find the one that fits the person best, that will best help you to explain it and help them to relate to it. Definitely use that to your advantage. Make it flexible and use it to help that conversation go more smoothly for you. Well guys, that about wraps it up. Those are my tips and thoughts on telling people about the furry fandom. I really hope that this is helpful for all my fellow furs out there. And one last thing before I go. Remember that no matter what people think about you being a furry, no matter what the negative reaction or comments you may get, whatever they think, don't let that stop you from enjoying something that you love and from being in a community that you enjoy. For every negative reaction or lack of support from someone outside of the fandom, you have tons of us within the fandom that are waiting to support you and love you in the interests that you have. Please don't forget that. I love you all. So thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this topic. Let me know how you've explained it to your friends and family and people in your life. Share your experiences, and if you have any advice or tips of your own, and also if you need some more advice from me, be sure to let me know. I'd be happy to help you guys out. And also be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future furry videos like this. I'm just getting started on furry YouTube, but I cannot wait to see where this goes, so do not forget to subscribe. That's all for this video. Bye for now, God bless, and stay furry fluffies. I'll see you in the next video.